All right, get ready to dive into medical AI.
It is a really exciting time.
Yeah, I'm looking at this stack of research summaries you sent.
Yeah.
Robot doctors, algorithms,
Yeah.
AI reading our minds.
Lots to unpack, for sure.
Where do we even begin? I'm seeing papers on, like, everything.
Well, why don't we start with medical records?
Okay.
You know, every doctor visit, every test result,
Right.
it all gets documented.
Yeah.
Making sense of it all, though, that's a challenge.
That's where AI comes in.
Absolutely.
I see some papers here
Yeah.
about using AI to analyze electronic health records.
Uh-huh.
EHRs, is that right?
Yep.
ColaCare,
Mm-hmm.
Emerge.
Yeah.
I think those are the names.
Both of those are using large language models.
LLMs.
LLMs, yeah, to unlock insights from EHRs
Okay.
that traditional methods might miss.
So it's kind of like having an AI assistant
Yeah, like an assistant.
that can read through a patient's entire medical history
Exactly.
and connect the dots.
Yeah, in a way that would take a human doctor forever.
Okay, so how does that actually work?
Well, let's take ColaCare as an example.
Okay.
This system uses multiple AI agents, almost like a virtual team of specialists,
Okay.
all analyzing a patient's EHR.
So each agent focuses on a different aspect
Yeah, different
of
aspects.
the patient's health,
Exactly.
and they all communicate to build a comprehensive picture.
They do, yeah, they communicate with each other.
So like having a cardiologist,
Yeah,
an endocrinologist,
Mhm.
a neurologist,
right. All weighing in.
but in AI form.
It's
Yeah,
exactly.
all right.
And there's even a meta agent
Okay,
that's like the lead doctor
okay.
guiding the discussion, you know, making sure the team is
Right.
considering all the information.
That's really interesting.
What's really cool is that ColaCare even integrates with the Merck manual,
Really?
a massive medical textbook.
So it's evidence-based.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
And then we have Emerge,
Okay.
which takes a slightly different approach.
It focuses on predicting future health outcomes
Oh, wow.
based on the patterns it finds in the EHR.
So could it predict something like
Yeah.
this patient is at high risk for developing diabetes in the next 5 years or something? Emerge is designed to be helpful for predicting things like in-hospital mortality
Oh, wow.
or readmission rates.
So valuable for doctors.
Yes, incredibly valuable.
Trying to prioritize care,
Mhm.
intervene early.
Right.
But how does it actually make these predictions?
Well, it's more sophisticated than just crunching numbers.
Yeah.
Emerge uses an LLM to extract key information
Mhm.
from both the structured data,
Okay.
like, you know, lab results, vital signs,
Right.
and the unstructured data,
Okay.
like doctor's notes,
Yeah.
discharge summaries.
Right.
Then it connects that information to a vast knowledge graph
A knowledge graph.
called PRIME-TG.
Okay, you lost me. What's a knowledge graph?
Okay, so think of a knowledge graph as a map of all the relationships between medical concepts.
Okay.
It helps the AI understand how different diseases,
Yeah.
symptoms, and treatments are connected.
I see.
So Emerge isn't just looking at data in isolation.
Right.
It's understanding it in the broader context of medical science.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
So both ColaCare and Emerge are basically using LLMs
Yeah,
to make sense of all that complex data in the EHRs,
they are
but in different ways.
in different ways.
One is focused on collaboration between AI specialists,
Right.
and the other is using a knowledge graph to make predictions
Exactly.
about the future.
And this is really just the tip of the iceberg
Okay.
when it comes to how AI is transforming healthcare.
Well, let's keep chipping away at that iceberg, shall we?
Let's do it.
What about this paper on citrus?
Yeah, citrus.
It mentions AI that can simulate a doctor's thought process.
That's right.
Is that even possible?
Citrus is trying to bridge the gap between clinical expertise
Okay.
and AI reasoning.
So they wanted to create an AI that doesn't just look at symptoms
Yeah.
and spit out a diagnosis.
Yeah,
It actually understands the reasoning behind it.
the way a human doctor would.
Okay, I gotta admit, that sounds a little bit scary.
Yeah.
How do you teach an algorithm to think like a doctor?
It's all about the training data.
Okay.
They fed Citrus massive amounts of simulated expert disease reasoning data.
So imagine recording the thought process of a doctor
Yeah.
as they work through a complex case.
That's right.
Every question they ask,
Yeah. Every test they order.
every piece of information.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy.
That's the data they use to train Citrus.
So Citrus is learning from the best,
It is.
but in a virtual way.
In a virtual way.
Does that mean it can actually understand
Well, that's the goal.
things like medical intuition,
Right.
the nuances of a patient's history?
That's what they're aiming for.
That's wild.
And to encourage more research, the team behind Citrus
Okay.
actually released a custom-built medical diagnostic dialogue dataset.
So they're giving other researchers the tools
That's right.
to build even better thinking medical AI systems.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It is really cool.
It seems like the more we understand how doctors think,
Uh-huh.
the better we can make AI
Yeah.
that can assist them.
To assist them.
Speaking of assisting doctors,
Yeah.
there was another paper about MedDex agent,
Okay, MedDex agent.
and it mentioned something about interactive diagnosis.
Yeah, interactive diagnosis.
What's that all about?
So MedX agent stands for Modular Explainable DDX agent.
Okay.
And DDX
Mhm.
in medical lingo
Okay.
means differential diagnosis.
Okay.
So basically, the process of figuring out which condition
Yeah.
out of many possibilities
Right.
is causing a patient's symptoms.
So narrowing down the possibilities.
Exactly.
But how is this AI involved in that?
It's more interactive than just a second opinion.
Okay.
The key here is that MedDeck's agent simulates the iterative process of diagnosis.
Okay.
In the real world. Doctors don't just make a diagnosis in one shot.
Right.
They gather information, they ask questions, they refine their hypotheses, and then ask more questions.
Right.
MedDeck's agent does the same thing.
So it's like the AI is playing the role of a medical resident.
Kind of, yeah.
Bouncing ideas off the doctor.
That's right.
Helping them refine their thinking.
Exactly.
That's really clever.
It is.
And it seems like a lot of these AI systems are moving away from the idea of replacing doctors and towards a more collaborative model.
Right, yeah.
Which feels a lot less intimidating, to be honest.
Definitely.
Speaking of powerful tools, there was one more paper that caught my eye.
Oh, yeah?
It's titled Expertise is What We Want.
Expertise is what we want.
It proposes something called the Large Language Expert, or LLE, system.
The LLE system.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, this paper highlights the challenge of finding the right balance between the flexibility of large language models and the reliability of traditional expert systems. LLMs are great at learning from vast amounts of data, but they can sometimes make mistakes or hallucinate. Meaning they generate outputs that are factually incorrect or nonsensical.
I've seen that happen with some of the AI chatbots out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Very creative, but not always accurate.
Not always.
And in healthcare, accuracy is paramount.
Very important.
That's where expert systems come in.
That's right.
They're based on carefully crafted rules and logic, ensuring that their outputs are reliable. Consistent.
Yeah, but they can be a bit rigid. Difficult to update.
So the LLE system is trying to combine the best of both worlds.
It is. It's leveraging the power of LLMs for tasks like understanding natural language, processing complex information, but it also incorporates the structure and reliability of expert systems.
It's like a large language model with a built-in safety net.
Exactly, a safety net.
Making sure it doesn't go off the rails.
That's right.
And they actually use this LLE system to assist with cancer workup procedures.
You did, yeah.
Can you give me an example of how that would work?
Imagine a patient comes in with a suspicious lump. The LLE system would analyze the patient's entire medical history. Doctor's notes, lab results, imaging studies. It would then use its knowledge of cancer workup procedures and its understanding of the patient's specific case to recommend the most appropriate next steps.
So like ordering a biopsy.
Right, a biopsy or referring to a specialist.
So it's like having an AI oncologist on call.
Yeah, like an AI oncologist.
Helping the doctor.
Helping the doctor.
Make sense of the data.
Right.
Ensure that the patient receives the right care at the right time.
That's the idea.
The early results are promising.
Very promising.
This is all so fascinating. We've gone from AI that can analyze mountains of data in EHRs to AI that can actually simulate a doctor's reasoning process.
It's amazing how far we've come.
I'm starting to get a sense of just how much potential AI has to transform healthcare.
Absolutely.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Just scratch the surface.
There's a whole world of medical AI research out there.
A whole world.
Including some incredible work being done in medical imaging.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right, lead the way.
Okay, so
I'm ready to dive deeper into this world of AI-powered healthcare.
Let's start by looking at how AI is changing the way we interpret and utilize medical images. From X-rays to MRIs and beyond.
Perfect. I'm eager to hear more.
All right.
Okay, I'm officially blown away by all this medical AI innovation. It's like every paper we talk about opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah, and it's not just about cool tech. It's about using that tech to solve real-world problems, in healthcare.
Right, like that paper we talked about earlier. Using AI to help patients understand their own medical records. All that jargon can be a nightmare to decipher.
Absolutely. Sik Zhang and his colleagues are really tackling that head on. They're training LLMs to identify and translate the most important medical terms from those dense EHR notes into plain language.
It's like having an AI translator that can bridge the gap between doctor speak and patient speak.
You got it. And what's really cool is they're exploring ways to do this even in low-resource settings.
Oh, wow.
They're using ChatGPT to augment the training data, making this technology more accessible to healthcare providers around the world.
That's fantastic. Everyone deserves access to healthcare information they can actually understand.
Absolutely.
It makes me think about another area where accessibility is crucial. Medical education.
Absolutely. Training qualified healthcare professionals is essential, especially in underserved communities. And that's where AI can play a transformative role.
You're talking about those papers on using AI to generate exam questions for medical students.
Exactly. Imagine an AI that can create realistic, challenging exam questions based on real-world medical scenarios.
Wow.
It could revolutionize the way we assess medical knowledge and ensure that, aspiring healthcare professionals are held to the same high standards regardless of where they're studying.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
It would also free up human instructors to focus on more hands-on teaching and mentorship.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the strengths of both AI and human educators to create a more effective and equitable learning environment. And speaking of ensuring quality and reliability, that reminds me of the work being done to combat fraudulent research.
Right, that paper about PubGuard LLM. the AI system that acts like a fraud detective for medical publications.
It's like having an AI watchdog constantly scanning the literature for suspicious activity. And it's not just about catching fraud. It's also about protecting the integrity of medical knowledge and ensuring that patients are receiving safe and effective treatments based on sound scientific evidence.
It makes you realize how much is at stake when it comes to the accuracy and reliability of medical information. We can't just trust everything we read.
You're right, and that's why research on text annotation reliability is so important. It's all about ensuring that the data used to train these AI systems is accurate and unbiased.
Okay, back up a second. What exactly are text annotations? This sounds kind of technical.
Think of them as labels or tags that are added to text to help AI models understand the meaning and context. For example, in a medical study, annotations might highlight key findings, identify patient characteristics, or classify different types of symptoms.
So it's like giving the AI a set of instructions or a cheat sheet to help it make sense of the text.
Exactly, and the reliability of those annotations is crucial. If the annotations are wrong or inconsistent, it can lead to biased or unreliable AI models. Linz Wally, a researcher in this field, is using principles from survey methodology to improve the reliability of these annotations.
Survey methodology? That sounds like a strange combination. What does surveying people have to do with AI?
It's about applying rigorous methods from social science research to assess the quality and consistency of AI-generated text annotations. By borrowing techniques from survey design, we can identify potential biases and improve the accuracy of the data used to train AI systems.
That's a really interesting approach.
It is.
It seems like we're learning that building trustworthy AI systems for healthcare requires insights from a wide range of fields, not just computer science.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of interdisciplinary work, let's shift our focus to another exciting area. The use of AI to enhance EEG technology.
That's the brainwave test, right?
Exactly.
The one with all the electrodes on your head.
Electroencephalography, or EEG, is a powerful tool for understanding brain activity. But traditional EEGs have limitations in terms of their spatial resolution.
So it's like trying to listen to an orchestra with only a few microphones.
Perfect analogy.
You can hear the music, but you can't pinpoint which instrument is playing which note.
Exactly. But what if we could use AI to boost the resolution of EEGs? To give us a clear picture of what's happening in different parts of the brain.
That sounds amazing. But how is that even possible? Are you talking about adding more electrodes?
Not necessarily. Researchers are using a technique called EEG super resolution, which leverages the power of generative AI to fill in the gaps between existing electrodes.
So it's like the AI is imagining what the EEG data would look like if we had more electrodes based on its understanding of how brain activity propagates.
Exactly. And this technology has the potential to revolutionize the way we diagnose and treat neurological disorders.
Wow.
Imagine being able to pinpoint the exact location of a seizure in the brain or track the progression of Alzheimer's disease with much greater precision.
That's incredible. It seems like AI is giving us a whole new window into the brain. Makes me think about those papers we discussed earlier about AI systems that can actually reason, like doctors. Are there any projects that combine those two ideas using AI to analyze brain images and make diagnostic decisions?
There are some very interesting developments in that area. One project that caught my eye is called MED-VLM-R1, a medical vision language model that analyzes both medical images and text-generating natural language explanations for its reasoning.
Okay, break that down for me. What exactly is a medical vision language model?
It's an AI system that can process both visual information, like brain scans or x-rays, and textual information, like patient records or scientific articles. It's like having an AI doctor that can read your chart, look at your scans, and then explain its reasoning to you in plain language.
So it's not just saying this scan shows signs of a tumor. It's actually explaining how it arrived at that conclusion.
Exactly. And that level of transparency is crucial for building trust and ensuring that clinicians feel comfortable using these AI-powered diagnostic tools. The researchers behind MED-VLM-R1 used a technique called reinforcement learning to train the model.
Isn't reinforcement learning how they trained AlphaGo?
You're right.
The AI that beat the world champion Go player? I remember reading about that.
It's a powerful technique that involves rewarding the AI for making correct decisions. In this case, MED-VLM-R1 was rewarded for generating accurate and explainable diagnoses based on the medical images and text it was given.
So it's learning to think like a doctor by being rewarded for making the right calls.
Exactly. And despite being trained on a relatively small data set, MED-VLM-R1 has shown impressive accuracy in diagnosing various conditions across different imaging modalities.
That's really cool.
It's an exciting step towards developing AI systems that can truly reason like human experts.
It's amazing to see how far we've come in just a few years. I remember when the idea of AI in healthcare felt like science fiction, and now we're talking about AI that can read our medical records, analyze our brainwaves, and even help doctors make life-saving diagnoses. Where do you think this is all heading?
We're definitely on the cusp of a major transformation in healthcare. AI has the potential to revolutionize everything from drug discovery to personalized medicine.
Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about drug discovery. We touched on this earlier with KEDRec-LM, the AI system for generating explainable drug recommendations.
Right.
What are some of the other ways AI is being used in this field?
One particularly promising area involves combining the power of LLMs with medical knowledge graphs. Remember that concept we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
Where the AI uses a vast map of medical knowledge to connect the dots and understand data in context.
Right. It's like giving the AI a medical encyclopedia to reference.
Exactly. And that same approach can be incredibly valuable for drug discovery.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI system that can analyze massive data sets of scientific literature,
Wow.
clinical trial results, and genomic information.
Okay.
Using a knowledge graph to identify potential drug targets, predict drug interactions, and even design personalized treatment plans.
It's like having an AI research team working around the clock.
You got it.
To develop new therapies.
And this approach could significantly accelerate the drug discovery process, reduce development costs, and ultimately bring new treatments to patients faster.
That's a vision worth striving for. It makes me think about the potential for AI to not just discover new drugs, but also optimize how we conduct clinical trials.
You're on the right track. Clinical trials are a crucial part of drug development, but they can be expensive, time-consuming, and often fail to recruit enough participants.
Yeah.
AI has the potential to address all of these challenges.
So can you give me some specific examples?
One paper we reviewed highlights the use of AI for pre-screening potential participants for clinical trials. It focused on trials for liver disease, which can be particularly challenging to recruit for.
Right.
The researchers developed a system that uses an LLM to analyze a patient's electronic health records and determine if they meet the criteria for the trial.
So it's like an AI gatekeeper.
Yeah, like a gate.
Making sure only eligible patients are considered for the trial.
Exactly. And it can also help ensure that trials are more diverse and representative of the patient population. The drug is intended for another exciting area, is the use of AI to optimize trial design itself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, traditionally, clinical trials have followed a very rigid structure with fixed doses, treatment durations, and patient populations. But AI can help us design more adaptive trials that are tailored to the specific characteristics of the drug and the patients involved.
So it's like having an AI clinical trial coordinator.
Yeah, like a coordinator.
That can adjust the trial in real time based on the incoming data.
Exactly. This could lead to more efficient trials, faster results, and ultimately more effective treatments. And it highlights the incredible potential of AI to not just automate tasks in healthcare, but to fundamentally change the way we approach research and development.
This is all so exciting. It seems like every time we uncover one application of AI in healthcare, it leads to 10 more possibilities.
It's a rapidly evolving field, and the pace of innovation is only accelerating.
Yeah.
We're just beginning to scratch the surface of what AI can do in healthcare.
Well, I can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, I think we've given our listener plenty to digest. We'll continue this fascinating exploration in the final part of our medical AI deep dive. We're back for the final part of our medical AI deep dive.
And
I am ready to be amazed.
Yeah.
We've seen AI analyzing medical records, interpreting brain scans, even speeding up drug discovery.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, we've talked a lot about AI assisting doctors.
Right.
But what if AI could actually participate in the process of, diagnosis and treatment, working side by side with clinicians to make those critical decisions?
Okay, now you're talking AI doctors.
Not quite replacing doctors, but more like a highly specialized partner.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI system that can not only process vast amounts of medical information, but also understand the nuances of a patient's history.
Right.
Ask relevant questions.
Okay.
And even suggest alternative diagnoses that a human doctor might have overlooked.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And a little bit unsettling.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Could you give me an example?
Sure. Think back to the MedDex agent system we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Remember how it simulates that iterative process of diagnosis? Asking questions, gathering information, refining its hypotheses.
Right, like an AI resident shadowing the attending physician.
Exactly.
Helping them think through the case step by step.
Now imagine that AI system becoming even more sophisticated.
Okay.
Able to access and process real-time patient data.
Okay.
Integrate the latest medical research.
Right.
And even learn from the doctor's own decision-making process.
So it wouldn't be making decisions on its own?
No.
But it would be an active participant in a diagnostic conversation.
Exactly.
Offering insights, challenging assumptions.
Like an AI consultant.
Right.
Bringing a fresh perspective and a wealth of knowledge.
But wouldn't that create a whole new set of ethical challenges?
Yeah, of course.
How do we ensure that these AI systems
That's the big question.
Are making recommendations that are not only accurate,
Right.
but also aligned with human values and ethical principles?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we move towards this vision of collaborative AI in healthcare, we need to be incredibly mindful of the ethical implications.
Yeah.
We can't just assume that an AI system will automatically inherit the ethical framework of its human creators.
Right. We need to design them to prioritize patient well-being,
Exactly.
respect patient autonomy,
Yeah.
operate within the boundaries of established medical ethics.
It's not just about building AI that can think like doctors.
Right.
It's about building AI that can think like ethical and compassionate doctors.
Exactly.
And that requires a deep understanding, not just the technical aspects of AI, but also the social, cultural, and philosophical dimensions of healthcare.
It seems like a lot to consider.
It is.
But it's essential if we want to harness the full potential of AI in a way that benefits both patients and the medical profession.
Absolutely.
We can't just blindly embrace new technology without thinking about the potential impact on our values and our society.
You're absolutely right.
The future of healthcare isn't about choosing between AI or humans.
That's right.
It's about finding the right balance.
The right partnership.
The right partnership.
Between human expertise and AI capabilities.
And that requires ongoing dialogue.
Yes.
Collaboration, a shared vision.
Absolutely.
For what ethical and equitable healthcare should look like.
I completely agree.
Well, you've given me and hopefully our listener a lot to ponder.
Lots to think about.
We've gone from AI analyzing heart rhythms to AI potentially participating in life or death medical decisions.
It's been a wild ride.
It's a wild ride, and it feels like we're just getting started.
We are just at the beginning.
The research we've discussed today represents just a snapshot.
Yeah, just a snapshot.
Of the incredible innovation happening in medical AI right now.
It really is incredible.
As the technology continues to evolve, the possibilities are truly limitless.
Limitless.
It makes you wonder what breakthroughs will be making headlines a year from now.
5 years from now.
10 years from now.
That's the exciting part. We don't know exactly what the future holds.
Right.
But one thing is for sure.
What's that?
The intersection of AI and healthcare is going to be one of the most fascinating and transformative areas to watch.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this incredible deep dive into the world of medical AI research.
I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sharing your expertise.
Absolutely.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you on our next deep dive into the world of emerging technologies.
See you next time.
Until then, keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and keep learning.